find this story fascinating, and we've heard about how the change in U.S. tax credits for EVs has shifted consumer demand. How do you think it has affected the competitiveness of brands in the United States, such as Tesla and Rivian?
Well, look, now these vehicle companies have got to be able to sell their products simply based on that, not with some sort of government subsidy. It's going to put a lot more pressure on them to figure out how to take cost out of making these products, selling them, and the like. And so the pressure's on. The startups like Tesla, Rivian, Lucid don't have gasoline-powered vehicles that they could sell right now that generate profits to pay for what they're doing. They've got to do it on their own. It's going to make it tougher for them. But remember, too, that certainly in Rivian and Lucid's case, so many other customers didn't even qualify for those government subsidies in the first place. It's going to affect them, but as they come out with new products, they should still be able to grow their market share.
And Tesla, as I understand it, is one of maybe a couple of EV markets globally making a profit right now. So with Elon Musk refocusing his efforts back on his company, do you see Tesla becoming or continuing to be the powerhouse, not just here in the U.S., but in large parts of the world?
Well, we'll have to see. Certainly Tesla has really totally changed the automotive industry from how you design, engineer, and manufacture vehicles. But, we'll have to see if it continues to be that innovative. Right now, Elon Musk seems to be much more focused on artificial intelligence and humanoid robotics than he is on the basic car business itself, except for applying autonomy to that. But there's a lot of others coming into that space, whether it's in the United States or in China, and in both those markets, those companies from those countries are expanding into global markets with their autonomy. So we'll have to see how Tesla, the car company, does versus Tesla, the AI/humanoid robotics company that Elon Musk is trying to position it as.
Okay, let's get back to Rivian, if you will. What about the event today? What does this focus tell us about the way this EV company wants to move forward, and also the public's tepid response so far?
Sure thing. Let's start with the tepid response. I think what investors are looking at is, this is going to cost a ton of money. As you reported earlier in this program, there's some questions with, is there too much money going into AI? Is there a bubble in that? And I think probably the investment community is a little bit nervous, and maybe, I'm guessing, that's what's reflective in the stock price. But make no mistake about it, what Rivian announced today is a significant technological step forward for the company. It's becoming very vertically integrated in its entire tech stack, all the way from designing and having chips, microprocessors made specifically for it, designed specifically for its kind of software that will offer a myriad of different services, including autonomous driving, at a much lower price point, too, than what Tesla is offering to the public. So I think it's a pretty significant announcement that Rivian came out with today.
I'm curious, what do you think about the Trump administration? It clearly has no interest in EVs in the United States. What is that going to do to companies that really want to expand? And the big three have had put their toe in the water in this as well. But the infrastructure isn't there. We heard a guest talking about in cold areas, these cars don't hold a charge that long. Is the deck stacked against EVs in the U.S. right now?
Well, look, I live in the northern part of the United States, and just outside of Detroit. It's really cold outside right now. Sure, cold weather is something you have to deal with EVs, but it's not like all their charge goes away. You do lose some range, but it's not as bad, especially if you preheat the battery to do that. So look, the Trump administration has pulled off all incentives, anything to do with electric cars. It's very unfortunate that a technology has become politicized, like electric cars have become in the United States. And now it's incumbent upon automakers themselves to be able to come out with affordable electric vehicles that really appeal to consumers. And there's a lot of attributes about EVs. And we're probably actually, next year, General Motors will bring out a revamped updated version of the Chevrolet Bolt EV. That'll probably, my guess, it might be priced just under $30,000. Ford, within 2 years, is coming out with a radically new process of how to develop cars. It's literally reinventing the assembly line. It's kind of a moonshot approach.
And,
if it works, Ford could find itself very competitive even with Chinese automakers.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, John, and I want to get you to weigh in on that. Is China going to continue to lead the world? I mean, they're just head and shoulders above any other nation right now.
No, you're absolutely right. It's really impressive how creative and innovative the Chinese have become, how they're applying new technology, but none of them are making money. I don't want to be too broad-brushed.
Right.
There's not even a handful of Chinese automakers that are making money. We're seeing all kinds of dealerships losing all kind of money. The system with the overcapacity that it's got right now is simply not sustainable. I'm not just saying that. There's people in China that are saying this.
Right.
And so we're likely going to see a massive restructuring. All I would say is automakers outside of the world should not get complacent, because the survivors in the Chinese industry, and there's probably only going to be maybe a couple of handful at best, they're going to be formidable competitors